Hey guys, Double Wide 6, and today I'm working on I think it's an Echo hedge trimmer. It's an HT-1500, and I found it at the scrapyard. I don't know anything about it, so in this video I thought we'd just check it out together. Here's a look at the trimmer. It's an HC-1500. It looks pretty good. It appears to have good compression. You can see how it can kind of hold itself up. And that's what I checked at the scrapyard. There's a crack here, but that shouldn't really affect anything. It's just the muffler cover. So I'm going to start by pulling out the spark plug, and we'll try and see if this thing will crank over. Plug wasn't too tight. Looks good. Even a hair wet. Spray a little fuel in there. See what we got. On. Guess I'll try and choke it. Well, we got spark, compression. Looks like we have a fuel issue with this one. So I'm going to pull the carburetor off. I think we'll just clean the carb on this thing because it is an older carb and it is adjustable. Couple screws in here. I do like these older style Echo machines with this style carb. They're simpler to work on. You can see this nozzle pulled right out of the carb. That's not a good sign. Looks like it goes in here. So I'm going to be putting this in the ultrasonic cleaner. I'm going to be using a glass jar. And I'm going to start just by taking this thing apart. Surprisingly, the primer bubble's in good shape. Most time these will crack. So throw that in there. And the gasket's pretty stiff. Probably going to super glue that little piece of brass in there. Needle and seat. This looks pretty good. It's a little oily. That's what I mean by kind of oily. Gonna check where these are at. This one's the high screw. That's half, one turn. So it was one turn out for the high. And the low, there's half a turn, one turn, almost 1.5. And I want to check if these needles are different, because sometimes they are. Yeah, the low is a little bit longer. So I'm just going to write down some notes. Going to be using this heavy duty degreaser. This is from Harbor Freight, and this works pretty well for sure. And I'm putting it in straight. And then we're going to take this jar and just drop it in the ultrasonic cleaner. The ultrasonic cleaner is just filled up with water, and we'll cycle it a few times. So I've closed up any open holes or ports, and I'm going to use the exact same degreaser. Just the it's called Super Heavy Duty Degreaser from Harbor Freight, and we're going to spray that on. This thing's kind of oily. This is cooled down because I had it sitting overnight. We'll take it over and see what we have. This is just water in here. I got this little 10 micron filter. Drop that in there. Lots of debris in there. The gaskets on this are in pretty bad shape, so I'm gonna try and scrape these off. There we go. And I've got a replacement here for that. And I think all I want to do is just spray this thing out. I noticed in some of these openings there's a little bit of that, I guess the degreaser, kind of like a soap scum. So I just want to go through and spray this out, and all these parts actually. I know this hedge trimmer sat for a while, so I'm just gonna clean off this needle, kind of give it a little bit of a hone. This is 400 grit with a little bit of oil. That'll really help prevent any flooding. And we're going to start putting things back together here. So we're going to put back in the needle and the spring. So I got a little bit of grease here. It's pretty sticky. It's this super lube. And that's actually going to help hold the spring. So we'll set that spring right in the grease. And next up, we'll take our lever and our needle assembly, put that together, and we're going to try and drop this right on our spring, just like that. Small Phillips head here, and we want to push this down and start our screw. This lever looks a little bit low. That looks better. And we'll put together the pump side. I'm reusing this gasket here. This is new. Looks like it goes that way. Set screws. The low is a little bit longer than the high, and it was set just a little bit less than 1.5. So we'll seat it. It's probably going to need to be adjusted anyhow. There's half, there's 1, there's a little less than 1.5. The high was 1 turn, and it has the shorter tip on it. One turnout. So I have one of these little echo assemblies. So we'll put through the fuel filter, fuel lines, and we gotta get this grommet seat. I'm gonna try and put the bottom in first and work the top with the screwdriver. I already put a little bit of oil on this thing to help it slide. The air breather is going to drop down, tuck in up here, like that. And then we have the pump side and the primer side. Just going to pull back on our fuel line. The bigger of the two is going to go to the primer. And smaller of the two, this one goes to the pump side because it has the fuel filter on it. Alright, we're ready to mount up the carburetor. So we'll start with the throttle cable. Should slip through. And then, what do we need here? I know the air filter goes on. I'm going to put a gasket here. And then we'll drop our studs through. That should hold that gasket. There we go. I just want to start these by hand, a turn or two. That should do it. Air filter. Cover. And then the wing nut. Well, we'll fuel this thing up and see what we get. Gonna oil this up a little bit. I forgot to prime it. Primer. Take it off choke. Maybe put it back on choke. Prime it once more. Half choke. No choke. Choke. Okay guys, so I was trying to get it to run. It would run fine on high speed, but it won't idle. I tried making several adjustments to no avail. So I'm doing what I should have done right away. and that was pick up a $12 carburetor. So I'm gonna install this one. I ordered it about 2 days ago, just got here today. So we'll pop this on. Nice thing about this one is it is adjustable. So we're going to try this new carburetor. Fuel's coming through. Choke. Well guys, this unit seems to be running really nice, and unfortunately I put a lot more work into it than I should have. I should have just got the aftermarket carb and went about it that way. It's much easier just to do that. These things are really finicky. Just as you can see, I went through, I cleaned that carb. I didn't put a whole new carb kit in it, but it wouldn't have mattered because one of the idle circuits in that carburetor was clogged up a little bit. So anyhow guys, I'm double wide 6, and I'll put a link down below to the actual carburetor that I used. I've tried, this one says it's Hoodell. I've tried all kinds of different brands of aftermarket carbs, and pretty much, you know, 70–80% of the time they're very successful. So I'll put a link down below. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think. See ya.